We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins quarterback, obviously. Haven't done a breakdown on him in a while, but I really want to focus on what I think his biggest superpower is. A lot of people might think accuracy or anticipation, and I think those are two of his bigger traits, but I wouldn't say it's quite his superpower, which makes him stand out. His ability to manipulate second and third level defenders with his eyes and body language to create these throwing lanes is so special. He does it at such a high rate. Like, there's other QBs who will do it from time to time. Like, he is doing it almost every snap. Like, there's so many examples of him doing this. Like, when he gets the opportunity to do it and he needs to do it, he does it, and he does it at a very high and consistent level. Because the Dolphins get, like, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle get a lot of credit for this offense. Like, the Tua haters will use it to, take away from him. But if they were facing man-to-man a lot, which they didn't because teams were scared to play man-to-man versus Hill and Waddle, they're facing zone. So all eyes were on Tua a lot of the times, and he had to create these throwing lanes because, it was less about Hill and Waddle creating separation, more about just like get to your spots with timing, and Tua will get you the ball. And when you combine this ability to manipulate these second level defenders with the anticipation and the accuracy behind it, I think that's what really makes Tua special. Like, these are high level things that he's doing. This is like the thing that really goes unnoticed, the ability to manipulate these defenders, move them out of the way, and just create these throwing lanes, doing it at such a high level, such a consistent level. Like, you look at, that's what I think his superpower is, which what makes him special. Like, because like a lot of QBs are accurate, like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, two of the best in the NFL right now, are very accurate QBs. But what makes them special is quite different. Like Burrow, his ability to process his high, instincts, brain power, football intelligence. Mahomes, obviously that too, but like what makes him special is, not his amazing accuracy. It's, it's the arm talent off script, that type of ability. And this is what really gives Tua that standout ability. If it was just anticipation and accuracy, I don't think he would be as standout. Like, he wouldn't stand out as much to me, but this ability is such a like subtle nuance to his game that no other QB is really doing right now at this level. It's what I really think, will carry him far within his career. First off, I just want you to focus on this defender right here, number 59. I believe that's Campbell for the Packers. But just look how he moves right there. That little subtle movement to create this, moves over to the side for pretty much no reason, just reading to his eyes. And it creates a huge lane thrown behind him. Look at, surrounded by, a pentagon of defenders, but with so much room. And this is not just a Tyreek Hill play. Tyreek Hill, obviously an amazing player, but this is not him doing anything really special here to create all this separation. People talk about the separation. This is more on, McDaniel and Tua combining this in here because he's not doing anything crazy in their out stem. He's not, he's just getting to his spot, turning around, and he's open. And this is mainly due to Tua. We'll watch from the other angle and just look at Tua's eyes and body and how he combines everything together. It's so special. He's here. Look at his body. It's lined up, looking to like the outside shoulder of Campbell. So Campbell starts to move, and he's still lining up like he's going to throw it there. And he's always throwing these like slight no-look passes where then he looks last second, realigns himself, and then throws it over the middle. Like, he is not lined up to throw it there, and then still hits him perfectly in stride. The anticipation, he's getting ready to throw this. Tyreek Hill is not even on the screen yet. So the anticipation and the accuracy combined with that manipulation, it's absolutely ridiculous how often he was doing this on a play-to-play basis. He was also doing this on like deep shots versus, looking off safeties and things like this. Like, he lets this ball go to Tyreek Hill, and he like was looking off to the left here to pull that safety down to the quarter side of the field just to take him enough out of the play. Like, quarterbacks are doing this more often with the safeties, looking them off, holding it, especially when it's like middle of the field, man-to-man type of things. But Tua was doing this quite often as well. I think the ones where he's doing it to like the second level defenders is where he's like truly special, because he was doing that a lot, and like a lot of quarterbacks are not doing that consistently. But we'll watch this from the other angle to see how he like just holds that safety long enough for Tyreek Hill to just basically get a one-on-one matchup down the field with the other safety. Just special work, play action. He's rolling out here, rolling out to his left. He's looking to the left the whole time, and then re-snaps his eyes back to the right before he throws it, which gives this ball just enough, because look, 20 almost gets there. If he's staring down Tyreek Hill the whole time, this safety has a much higher chance of making a play on this ball, and that's a 50-plus yard completion that leads to a touchdown right after this. Tua was a huge part of this offense. Like, obviously Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, very huge parts as well. It allowed what to open up and allowed to make these play calls from McDaniel. But Tua was, I just don't know if there was maybe a few quarterbacks in the NFL in this offense that would have played better. I think, for this offense specifically, Tua is like top 5 option for it because he runs it at such an efficient level. Tua is also doing this a lot, like out of shotgun, quickly play action. He could do it under center. He could do it he did it a lot on RPOs as well, just quick decisions. This one's a quick play action, almost feels like an RPO, but they're pass blocking, but just quick step this back. You can see it better from this angle. The safety goes crashing down, so it's not really the safety because he's not really looking at Tua on this play. He does try to manipulate him a little bit, but it's more on Quay Walker right here, number 7. He quickly is just holding to the left here, gets back here. He's still looking off to the side over here. Look at he's trying to release this, and his eyes are pointing over to this direction, and he's doing this just to move number 7 out of the way, and then snaps it over, throws it right where Walker just was, and he was too close, doesn't have a chance to make a play, and he still throws an accurate ball, hits Tyreek Hill in stride. To throw this accurately while you're really not looking at your receiver directly until the last second, like when you release the ball, is very, very impressive from Tua. I think this is just a part of his game that really goes unnoticed to maybe, a more casual eye, the people that just don't really pay attention or watch Tua play. These are the things that they don't notice and see that this is what makes him special. It's obvious. This is why people, it's obvious to see why Josh Allen type of player is special. He's a freak athlete. He's huge. He has a super strong arm, and he makes those big time plays. It's a lot easier to see why those types of players are special. When it comes to Tua, it takes people a little bit longer to come around on them. Sometimes Tua does it very subtly with his eyes, just a slight manipulation just to move the linebackers. Those where I think where he's super, super special. And sometimes he's just looking them completely off. Look, he takes 57 all the way out of here just by really hard committing to this side of the field, to this two-man concept. And they just completely open up this middle of the field. All he now has to do is start with this anticipation to lead this away from Fred Warner, because this space now gets opened up from Greenlaw here. A lot more QBs are doing this where they're looking to one side of the field and snapping back to the other side of the field. This is not the super, super special part of his game, but it's still a high level play from him. This is just what he can do in so many different subtle ways. Snap back to here, see that, Greenlaw completely takes himself out of this play, throw this ball while Smythe is still behind Fred Warner, but you just don't want, to throw it to Fred Warner, and then splits these two defenders absolutely perfectly, hits Smythe right in the chest with perfect accuracy. Again, just so special. And he always is combining his eyes with his feet when he's snapping things back. He's gotten a lot better at that with his footwork in the pocket, and it's just something I still think he can even grow and get better at, and I expect him to with the hard work he's been putting in the offseason. Couple things Tua is doing on this play, just affecting the defense in multiple ways, looking off to the right, looking to the left. We can see how this affects, even when they're expecting, Fred Warner is possibly the best linebacker in football, probably the best linebacker in football, very good in pass coverage, and he knows Tua is trying to manipulate him with his eyes. He's been getting manipulated, early on in this game. He knows not to fall for it, but it still holds him just by looking to the right there. And then look at Greenlaw coming down on this right here. I think Tua is looking, still makes it look like he's going to throw it to the underneath target, and that's why Greenlaw is sitting on this. I believe that's Greenlaw, but looks off to the right here just to hold Fred Warner, wants to throw this behind them, and you can see how his eyes look like they're lined up with Ingold right here, he's going to throw it to him. And then look how it changes up last second. You can see the subtleness to his game. So it's a double manipulation on this play. You can see change, looks like it's going to go right to Ingold, and then last second he whips it behind 57 right there with amazing accuracy. The timing of it as well. I sound like a broken record, but it's just absolutely special work from Tua. This Niners game wasn't Tua's best game, but he still was doing the work with his eyes, especially against the linebackers 57. Fred Warner, great player, a lot harder to manipulate him. We can see it better from this angle. It's a little bit slightly different because usually it's right off the snap, even in the play action, he's trying to manipulate with his eyes. But you can see he's looking to the right here, seeing if that's going to be open, and then snap back. He sees 57, isn't really affected by it. He peeks over, so he throws his eyes back to the right and then goes back to the left just to move him. So it's a little bit different. He goes right, left, right, just to throw off Greenlaw. He sees that he's not really manipulated by the initial movement here because 57's kind of reading over here. His eyes aren't looking exactly at Tua, and now he snaps back to Tua, and then Tua looks back to the right while he's off of it, and then it moves him. Then he comes back to hit Tyreek Hill in the open pocket of the defense. Another really nice play there from Tagovailoa. Here's, that seam rail slide RPO, the staple of the Dolphins offense, and even when Tua's eye manipulation isn't as effective because sometimes he's creating wide open lanes, but on these RPOs you got to be quick, and he just gives that look to the outside like he's gonna throw this rail route, and it gets 44 to open up just enough. Let's watch 44. He gets a little bit too wide just based on Tua's, look here. And he sees this, and he's going to throw it back to the inside, set this up. And with, less room to throw with, he still throws an absolutely perfect ball, leads Sherfield perfectly in stride, great accuracy. And then Sherfield is able to bounce off a tackle, go to extra work. Tua doing it in so many different ways. Another play here where Tua's kind of manipulating late. Like, obviously, he starts off looking to the right here just so he can get that first initial linebacker out of the way because he wants to throw it to the backside. They're an empty here, and Jalen Waddle's in the slot to the side of the field, just running the dig behind 45 here. He wants to take 57 out of the way. He sees 57's not really looking at him, so he snaps back here. And this linebacker right there in this throwing lane, he looks him off just enough. He looks to the left here to slow him down and then whips it behind him. So great, and then great accuracy, anticipation. Throw it low so it can protect him from the safety behind. Just really nice work. And, at this point in the season, when it was middle of the season, he was absolutely cooking, doing this all the time. I've definitely shown this play a million times. I've talked about it. This is one of my favorite Tua plays. Just absolutely fluid, smooth, perfection, everything about this play. The way he sets it up with his feet, his eyes, just really looking off with the play action. He just snaps to the left, really moves this, holds this guy, moves him to the left here. Everything is just perfectly in motion. We can see this from the back angle to really see how he's working here. You can see it better from this view. Just off to the left here, really looking down to the flat, which gets 53 to widen just enough, and then snap this back, throw this over, and while he's still moving to the right, because he's just looking, you can see he's looking, when he snaps back here, his eyes are still looking to the right shoulder of 53. So it still gets him to widen, and then as he's about to release it, snap it, release it behind him. Jalen Waddle hits him perfectly in stride. Just such a huge effect on the offense that Tua had because they were facing zone all the time. So it wasn't like Waddle and Tyreek Hill just creating a bunch of separation, beating guys who were manned or matched up against them. It was more just get to your spot, and Tua's going to find you. This is a prime example of it, just throwing behind this. And this is a tough one too, how he's affecting the defenders here. They're mugging the line of scrimmage here, showing that they might, blitz, go cover 0 type of look, cover 1 possibly, and then they drop out of it into a zone. He's still manipulating these guys. He's looking down, making this guy widen just enough to throw it behind him to Jalen Waddle. Really good work. And when you're doing this all the time, it can be tough, holding someone off to the right, and by moving this guy to the right, it could move, a guy over here far to the right and then take away that throwing lane. So you got to be have this down to a science, to an art. He's just looking off. You can see just holding this guy the whole time, and then as he's floating, he's feeling the momentum of this guy, and then throw it behind him with the anticipation. You got to throw with anticipation here, because if you hold on to this, wait for him to get past, this guy's then going to become in the throwing lane and take it away. Tua, just a magician in these areas. Everything is so natural for him when he's working like this. Just another example, we got 2 more plays to go. We're going to finish it off first, the Steelers here. He does a great job, working this. Really good work by McDaniel, too, by using sort of this play action where everything in the backfield out of shotgun, and then, maybe on the jet here, using this where he can slide with the offensive line, but still keep his eyes down the field while he's working on a play action. A lot of times you're out of play action, your back goes to the defense, so you can't read it. This allows him to manipulate. He sees, because they're showing a too high look pre-snap. They rotate into this look post-snap, and now he's just holding this guy right here with his eyes. He looks just to his right. You can see, look at him be affected by it. Even when this ball's being released, he is seeing the release here. This is how effective Tua is at manipulating. Usually guys are doing it very quickly, and then they reset their feet, reset their eyes. But Tua's not resetting here. He is moving this guy out of the throwing lane because of how he's lined up with his eyes, and then still delivering an absolute accurate ball 20 yards down the field to Jalen Waddle. This is so insane, the work that he is doing here. Just look how he affects this guy. He's lined up and then moves this guy out of the way. Even when he's releasing it to this side of him, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know how he's doing it. It's absolutely insane, absolutely ridiculous work from Tua. Last play, I'm going to break down another, similar play to Jalen Waddle over the middle of the field. Just doing it again. You can watch this defender right here. Look at him. He's just reading him, holding him with his eyes. Gives that slight look to the left, moves him out of the way. Same exact thing as the last play with the other linebacker, this time a DB. Just ridiculous work. Like, these guys are just reading Tua. They're not moving, being affected by, receivers. Sometimes they might be affected by a little bit of both, but he's really just all eyes on Tua. And now you see how he sort of hesitates here, gives that slight look to the left. You can see the receiver starting to appear right here. He's still looking to the left of the defender, moves him, and then releases it to the other side. Hits Jalen Waddle over the middle of the field. Another great throw, another perfect work from Tua. It's just so special. This is why he doesn't get the credit he deserves, because people don't really spend the time to actually look at the nuance to his game. Like, if he was just throwing with accuracy, anticipation, I would understand, like, well, the rest of it doesn't really make up for it. Not the strongest arm, not the greatest off script. Like, he's got good pocket awareness. But this part of his game really makes him special. There's not a lot of things that make people special. Like, people don't have their own thing. Like, they need a lot of things to add up and combined. And this is something he is doing that no other quarterback's really doing to this level. Like, yes, from time to time you'll see it, but this is so often. And he is seeing the field. Like, his processing improved a lot this season. And with Waddle and Hill out there, they just created great chemistry. And I think, teams are going to be scared to run more zone coverages, try to force them, to beat them. Maybe even man up, press up, and then you have Waddle and Hill take over the games. But Tua had to take over. They tried to make Tua beat them, and a lot of times they did. That's why they were one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL. Because they were facing zone coverage so much, it was really Tua and McDaniel's scheme creating a lot of these big explosive plays. The big vertical shots were a lot of Hill and Waddle, but like the ones where you're picking up like 20 to 30 yard gains, a lot of times it was just Tua's eye manipulation creating all that room, and then Hill and Waddle would create the big ones. When we have like 70-yard touchdowns, it was a lot of them putting in the work. That's why this offense was so consistently explosive. So you guys enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.